Hi, my name is Andrew. I'm from Melbourne and I'm a Scientologist. How I first heard of Scientology was I was walking down the street and somebody handed me a personality test ticket, and they said that I could find out what my strengths and weaknesses were. I was interested in that, so I went and did the test. What made me want to find out more was I got the results of my test and it showed the exact weakness which I already knew that I had, but it was obvious that it was clear that it needed to be addressed. So I wanted to know how they knew that so well and accurately, and I wanted to know if they had what they wanted to offer me as a solution to that. The first course that I studied there taught me about the difference between integrity and moral codes and my personal values. I applied it to my life, and a lot of the things that was happening to me, I was getting a lot of bad karma. I was involved in some heavy gangs and also a lot of drugs at the time, a lot of crime, and all my friends were in jail at the time for different kinds of crimes, quite heavy crimes, and my life was pretty much going down the chute. So when I saw that course and it showed me exactly how to turn things around in my life, I recognized that as something I really needed to do. In my day-to-day life, Scientology helps me with the decisions that I make when I'm trying to decide, at a crossroads. I've got important choices, and it always helps me to make the right choice that leads to the best solution for me. And also it helps me to understand others. So I originally used to have a big problem with trusting people, reading people, understanding people, and basically I just stopped trusting people. But now I can read people really well, and I can pick my friends much better. I know who I can deal with, who I can trust, so it helps me a lot in that way. Some of the things Scientology has enabled me to realise about myself is my potential, my ability and my purpose in life, like what I can do that makes a difference in life. Scientology showed me exactly what I'm capable of and what I can reach. I thought, I grew up in a very poverty-stricken area, and everyone around me was, broke for money all the time, week to week. They lived week to week, and the whole viewpoint of life was very limited, and no one ever thought you could ever break out and become a business owner or anything like that. But I actually was able to use these tools to come out and create a business and change that whole destiny. I was at a stage where I needed to make up all the damage that I had done in my life, and I had to come clean. I had to work out a way to do that, and I committed a lot of crime, 3 years full-time crimes, 2,000 cars stolen, hundreds of burglaries, factories, shopping malls. I'd never really been caught for that. And in the end, when I did get caught at the final stages and I was sentenced and they were trying to put me away forever because I'd done so much, and basically I learned also while I was in there how to get out of the system, and I picked a loophole and I got out. And when I ran into Scientology, they showed me that the only way to really truly change your life and stop the bad luck from always hitting you is to come clean, come totally clean on a personal level with yourself, with the people around you. And that was the first major concept of, in the criminal world, that's the last thing you're gonna do. Anyway, I had to go to the police station eventually and hand in all the crimes that I've committed that they never caught me for. And it was a tough call. It was my choice. It was a choice to put things right. And I walked in there, they said, "Oh man, it looks like you could go in for a long time." I had to go away and do some homework and research and check everything against what I'd written. A couple of weeks later, I called back and they said, "Oh, we've shifted your file over to another police station." I called there. They said, "No, we've not received it. You have to call back." I called back. They said, "No, we've sent it." I called back. They said, no, we've not received it. And this went on for about 2 weeks. And eventually they told me not to bother calling anymore. They said, don't call us, we'll call you. You know, there's no way, we can't deal with it. You have to go back to them. You know, they just kept pushing me around. And I was basically on the doorstep going, you know, arrest me. And they were just pushing me out. So, you know, that was the first time I'd ever have any good luck happen to me. For so long, I knew that whatever I was doing was making that change. So I just continued on that point, and to cut a long story short, eventually the police in New Zealand wrote on a piece of letterhead that they would never press charges against me for anything I'd ever done, and, you know, from this date, that day, all the way back. And they signed it, stamped it, senior sergeant, and gave it to me and said, you're now clean with the law. And I'd done like quite a bit of community service during that time with helping the church and drug rehabs, and I was trained in social reform. I did a lot of work. So that was a major change in my life, actually changed my life dramatically. And since that time, I've dedicated my life to helping others. And you know, I can pull anybody out of any situation. Doesn't matter how deep they're in. The way I see my future now, it's completely different, and I can control it. Whereas before I was like a leaf in the wind, you know, destiny will take me wherever I'm headed. But now I can actually direct where I'm going, and if I don't know, I have all the tools to figure it out. So that's the greatest gift, you know, that I have gained from Scientology. Scientology is the answers to life. So anything that involves living, surviving, growing as a person, as a group, as a family, the answers to actually living, that's what Scientology is. Just it's knowledge. Like, you know, I was no food in the cupboard, you know, everyone on drugs, living in that lifestyle, and now I have property, I've got a beautiful family, kids, a beautiful daughter, companies, jobs. I have like various companies and different things going, activities. I have time for volunteer work still, actually more than ever. My favourite thing about Scientology is the fact that you can trust everybody. All the people I've met, friends, people who work there, volunteers, they're all so genuine, and you know, that's rare, and it's like everybody there is like that. And I find that very valuable when you're connected to a group of people. If they're all people you can actually trust, it's amazing what you can get done. The best way for someone to learn about Scientology is to go into a church somewhere, or a group, or get involved in one of their activities, and they will see exactly what Scientology does. It's fully open to anyone. They can go in and see everything that's available there. That's the best way, just to go in there and have a look for yourself. Scientology has helped my family in a lot of ways, and mainly in the field of creating a stronger bond and handling conflicts between family members, and also strengthening the family unit, because there's tools to do with making a family very strong, and we use that, and you know, we're very close. And you know, before that, I didn't have those tools, so when it fell apart, there was no way to fix it. Now I can repair it and fix it, so that's how it's helped my family. Scientology's helped me with my work by teaching me how to manage a business, how to manage people, and how to organise things. Once you've got that down, you can do anything. Once you know how things should run, you know, the basics to business. Once I learned that, I was able to grow a business. Scientology can help everyone. It doesn't matter how far you're down or up. If you're up, it's going to help you enhance that and stay there, so that you don't get struck and fall down. If you're down, it'll teach you why you're down and show you exactly how to climb back out. Scientology is so important to me in this day and age because it has the answers to the current problems that we face today, and all the issues that we're trying to resolve. It's got all the answers to that, and it's got workable ones. That's the most important part of it, is but the answers that it has have been tested and applied, and they work and they get results. And I've gone out and applied them myself to see if it works, and it works. So I repeat applying it all the time. And anything that works, I'm going to hang on to. So it's very important.
The word Scientology comes from the Latin Scio, which means knowing in the fullest meaning of the word, and the Greek word logos, which means study of. It means knowing how to know. Scientology is further defined as the study and handling of the spirit in relationship to itself, universes, and other life. Fundamental to Scientology is a view of man as a spiritual being. In Scientology, the spiritual being is called the Thetan. The term is taken from the Greek letter theta for thought or life or the spirit. It is used to avoid confusions with previous concepts of the soul. The Thetan is immortal and has lived and will continue to live through countless lifetimes. One is a Thetan who has a mind and who occupies a body. The Thetan animates the body and uses the mind. Also fundamental to Scientology is a view of life as compartmentalized into urges towards survival. These are called the dynamics, and there are 8 of them. The first dynamic is the urge toward existence as oneself. Here we have individuality expressed fully. This can be called the self dynamic. The second dynamic is the urge toward existence as a sexual activity. This dynamic actually has 2 divisions. Second dynamic A is the sexual act itself, and the second dynamic B is the family unit, including the rearing of children. This can be called the sex dynamic. The third dynamic is the urge toward existence in groups of individuals. Any group, or part of an entire class, could be considered to be part of the third dynamic. The school, the society, the town, the nation are each part of the third dynamic, and each one is a third dynamic. This can be called the group dynamic. The fourth dynamic is the urge toward existence as or of mankind. Whereas one race would be considered a third dynamic, all the races would be considered the fourth dynamic. This can be called the mankind dynamic. The fifth dynamic is the urge toward existence of the animal kingdom. This includes all living things, whether vegetable or animal, the fish in the sea, the beasts of the field, or of the forest, grass, trees, flowers, or anything directly or intimately motivated by life. This can be called the animal dynamic. The sixth dynamic is the urge toward existence as the physical universe. The physical universe is composed of matter, energy, space, and time. In Scientology, we take the first letter of each of these words and coin a word, MEST. This can be called the universe dynamic. The seventh dynamic is the urge toward existence as or of spirits. Anything spiritual, with or without identity, would come under the heading of the seventh dynamic. This can be called the spiritual dynamic. The eighth dynamic is the urge toward existence as infinity. This is also identified as the supreme being. This is called the eighth dynamic because the symbol of infinity, stood upright, makes the numeral 8. This could be called the infinity or God dynamic. Scientologists usually call these by number. The basic characteristic of the individual includes his ability to so expand into other dynamics. But when the seventh dynamic is reached in its entirety, one will only then discover the true eighth dynamic. As an example of use of these dynamics, one discovers that a baby at birth is not perceptive beyond the first dynamic. But as the child grows and interests extend, the child can be seen to embrace other dynamics. As a further example of use, a person who is incapable of operating on the third dynamic is incapable at once of being part of a team, and so might be said to be incapable of a social existence. The abilities and shortcomings of individuals can be understood by viewing their participation in the various dynamics.
When you look at the world around you, trouble and conflict seem so commonplace,
Dude, I'll give you your money back. I've always paid you back.
so inevitable,
Always late paying me.
that it's easy to assume that it's just the way life is.
No, you're crazy. Take it back. I don't want it. What the hell am I gonna do with jalapeno?
But it's not natural for friends or colleagues to quarrel or deteriorate into open hostility.
Hey, break it up. Hey, break it up. Break it up. Hey, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Break it up. You know what? You're crazy.
Or for a husband and wife to constantly be at each other's throats.
You're going mental.
And it's not natural for conflicts between nations to simmer and then explode into open warfare. So what's causing them? And why are these conflicts so difficult, if not impossible, to fully resolve?
That was delicious. Thank you.
Thank you, honey. Hey, are you leaving?
Yeah, I got this thing.
This thing? It's 9 o'clock at night.
Okay, overreacting. Look, it's just a business thing. Relax.
Doug, are you cheating on me?
What?
Are you cheating on me?
No. You know what? You're crazy. You know that, right? You're losing your mind.
Take an example of any two people fighting. As no one else is around, the obvious thing to assume is that they caused the fight. Each blames the other.
There's something going on, so just admit it.
There is nothing going on. You're gone mental.
But the quarrel doesn't resolve.
Listen to yourself. There's nothing
Why?
going on.
Because its true cause has not been established. You see, neither of them actually caused the fight. In Scientology, it was discovered that there is a fundamental and natural law of human relations, which explains the real underlying cause of all human conflicts. The previously unknown law would seem to be this: a third party must be present and unknown in every quarrel for a conflict to exist. That two people are fighting is easy to see. What's hard to see, and even harder to suspect, is that a third party exists who actively promoted their quarrel.
Steve, what are you doing? I'm married to your friend.
Come on, married? When does that ever stop Doug? Shouldn't stop you either.
What are you trying to say?
Oops, I've said too much.
The hidden third party is the instigator.
I don't know how you do it.
What? Do what?
Trish. I mean, she's a lovely girl and all. Come on, she's a little crazy. Always has been.
Marital conflicts are common,
Are you cheating on me?
You're losing your mind. I gotta go.
but marriages can literally be saved if both parties sort out who actually caused the conflicts. It may seem incredible, but the law is always true.
Break it up. Hey, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Break it up.
While it is commonly believed to take two to make a fight, a third party must exist and must develop it for actual conflict to occur. For example, the unsuspected bystander who denies any part of it is the one that brought the conflict into existence in the first place. The person who sometimes seems to be a supporter of only one side
He's always talking about you whenever you're not around. He talks badly about you all the time.
is the actual instigator, the hidden third party.
Really?
What are you doing, man?
For a quarrel to occur, an unknown third party must be active in producing it between two potential opponents. Now that isn't to say that there aren't bad conditions in life that can cause conflict. Of course there are. But these can usually be fixed by talking them through.
Will everyone just calm down? There isn't enough money in the company for anyone to get raises right now. Oh, yeah.
Not enough money, is that right? I don't see you taking a bus here every day.
What?
Is that a new car, Jerry? Because it's nice.
No, actually, it's my wife's car, Bill. She's taking the bus. Like I said, there's no money in the company for anyone right now.
These conditions are unacceptable.
Yeah.
We're working overtime for free. Something is wrong here.
Yeah, there is. The complaints I keep getting about all the mistakes going on down here at the warehouse. wrong deliveries, wrong invoices.
Wrong invoices?
The only time a conflict cannot be resolved and continues is when there is a third party actively promoting the conflict. At first, both sides may think of many reasons why they're fighting.
You ordered this. This is what you ordered.
You have to take it back.
I brought you exactly what you ordered.
I won't take this if it's for free, all right?
But these reasons aren't a human being. You're looking for a third party, an actual person.
Did you see his new car out in the parking lot?
No, I get here before him.
Yeah, well, the way I see it is, if he can afford a new car, then he can afford to give us all raises. Am I right?
Totally.
Damn straight. There was trouble with the invoices again. That grocer downtown, he sent everything back. What? How come the order was wrong again?
Oops. I guess management gets what management pays for. Am I right, gentlemen?
The third party ordinarily uses false reports to create the trouble.
Keep hearing from our customers that your invoicing's all wrong.
False reports are written or spoken statements which turn out to be groundless or deceitful.
I think it's actually the warehouse guys. I think they're screwing up these invoices on purpose. A lot of them are talking about striking. They all want raises.
Wrong invoices. You send us the paper, we send the product out.
No,
Every
there's
single
something broken here.
Find the third party and establish the proof. That will be the end of their conflict.
I've had enough. This isn't working.
But how do you uncover someone who's hidden or unknown? Unless they are detected, those hidden but very real third parties can wreak considerable havoc in your life. In studying the third party law, you'll learn precisely how to find out who has been spreading false reports and stirring up these conflicts, and why this discovery opens the door to their resolution. The third party law is the tool that resolves all those previously unsolvable conflicts in life. Peace and harmony between men can be more than just a dream. With these tools, it is within reach